Okay, so I've been tasked with putting up a new wireless infrastructure. On this floor, we're going to be putting up 12 new wireless access points. And this sheet in front of me is actually the heat map. And the actual wireless device we're going to be using is the Mist from Juniper. So I documented and label these parts already, including the MAC address and all that stuff in here. There's the mounting bracket that you put on before you start installing it. So all this is prep work already. So based on the heat map, it should go on that tile right there. So I want to put it between the light one. I don't really want to put it next to the light tile. Okay. So my ladder is positioned. So you always want to position your ladder facing the direction you're going to be working. So when you step on it, that's the direction you're going to be working and facing for safety reasons. But now I got to ninja some cables. Let's see if they have any cables up there. So these are drop ceilings, so makes everything much easier. It's like way easy with the drop ceilings. So now I'm not running brand new cables. I'm gonna ninja some cables from existing office or cubicles. So here's the ceiling, or in this case would be the floor if you're up top, because we're down here, this is the ceiling. Which cables can I ninja? Some cables here. Maybe that way. A lot of cables over there. The ninja. So I'm gonna ninja the cables from this jack because we're not using it. So I'm gonna remove this jack just by doing this. Right? It comes right out. Okay. Comes right out. So basically I just pull these cables out, right? And then I'm going to pull that off back up into the ceiling. And then I'll just shove this back in. And throw this back into here. Nobody would even know. But of course, until they come and try to use this jack, it won't work. By then, I won't be around. Voila. It looks like it's good, but they don't realize all 3 cables have been ninjaed. Okay, so now we go up into the ceiling, drop ceiling. So they normally use a conduit to snake these cables through. Show you. Get some light here. So that's the electrical conduit that runs down into the jack, into that box. So those 3 cables are what's in there. So I'm gonna pull those cables out. But here's the thing, my ladder's not facing the direction I'm working, so I'm turning sideways. So I'm gonna go down and reposition my ladder so that it turns in the direction I'm working. Hold on. Alright, so I repositioned my ladder. So I want to emphasize that again. Your ladder should always be pointing in the direction you're working so you don't turn your body. Did I want to fall? So now there's the conduit. So these 3 cables should come out. So sometimes you take them one at a time. It's easier. That's good, because the person who put the cable in, they didn't tie wrap. Sometimes they do that. That's the biggest. When you run cables and if you tie wrap the cables or you tape them, that's the worst thing you could do. That's a noob move. Anybody who ties the cable when they run them don't know what the freak they're doing. So cables should always be free running, no cables, no tie wraps on them. Anyway, so here's the cable. I'm going to use these for the 3 new access point I'm going to be running. So based on my heat map, I'm going to keep one of the cables here for one of the runs. Then I'm going to drag the other cable down to these 2 runs. So with these 3 cables, I'll be able to put up 3 access points. Here's my cot. You believe they were gonna throw this cot out? So I converted it to like my wireless access point cot. Right, so you got the bottom, you got the middle, and you got the top to put stuff in. And I used a coat hanger, right? I made it so that it holds my ladder. So it's perfect. Just what I needed. Check out the view. This is the 35th floor. Nice view up here. Right? It's around 42nd Street. 3rd Avenue area. Okay, like I said before, the ladder faces the direction of where you're working. In this direction. And the other thing here is you always want to work on the ground, so try to do minimum work on the ladder. So if you need to punch down or dress the cable or the jacks, you do it on the ground, not on the ladder. Safer that way. Right, so let's crimp these cables correctly. Or the other thing that you should have when you're working in this type of environment is make sure you have a hard hat. It's a must. Gotta have one. So now, like I said, you want to be working on the floor, right, when you're doing these things. Stay off the ladder as much as possible. And now I'm going to crimp these head. I'm going to put in an RJ45 connector on it. So before you start weaving out these cable pairs, you want to make sure that your crimper and the head is ready, because you don't want to be looking for that after you weave out the cable. You want to do it before. So place them over here. This way it's ready for you when you need it. So now the way I'm rigging this cable is a little bit different, because I'm actually converting them into a patch cable. So the blue is always on the center. In this case, because the clip will be facing me, so that means the orange will be on the right and the brown will be on the left. Anyway, so you always start off with the blue, right? The way I remember it is normally the solid blue is actually on the right, but in this case it's going to be on the left, and the white blue is on the right, and then every other color follow its natural or default position. So left, white blue on the left, and the solid on the right, right? Everything follows that except the blue. The orange, same thing, white orange on the left, but now the whole complete orange is over here on the right side, and the brown pair is on the left, so the whole brown pair stay together. White, brown, brown, orange, right? Looks easy. Once you get used to it, you could wiggle it around like this. But these RJ45 heads, special, those are the pass-through, and they're a little bit easier. Those are for like noobs. I mean, I've been doing this for about 30 years, so but they're easier to manage, the pass-through ones. I'll show you why. So then, see the clip here? The clip's towards you. That's why I arranged these colors in this order. So in other words, I'll pass it through and I'll go over the colors again. So push it right through. So that's why it's a pass through. See it? It comes all the way through. And you gotta make sure you have the right type of crimper that cuts the pass through. So you push it all in, right? Right there. Makes everything easier to do. So once again, right, you start with the blue in the center, right? The blue in the center. So the solid blue on the left, white blue on the right, and then everything else follows the same, and then the green goes around the blue. So you have white, green, green, and then the brown pair is on the left, and the orange pair is on the right. Anyway, so now we're ready to crimp. Okay, so take your little crimper here, using the 8-port one. Slide it through. You have to be careful. Make sure these things do not get bent. Keep them straight, or else they're not going to cut properly. Okay, so now they're out here. They're going to be cut. Push this end in. Flush. Squeeze. Cut. These are one of the best. Sometimes they don't come out. You just twist it like this. Pulls that off. This is one of the best ones. I had one the other day that I was using. It didn't have a didn't have this cut piece, so it's actually for the regular non-pass-through RJ45 head. Anyway, so that's that. Alrighty, so I'm gonna grab one of these wireless access points. I'm gonna use 22, my lowest one on this floor. Go up the ladder like this. Alright, so now I'm going to show you how to install this. Pretty simple. So I'm going to start with my label. So it's important to label your, start this way when you come back and troubleshoot, you know, what's what. Okay, so before I mount this wireless access point, I'm going to actually measure. So this is like the center. And I'm going to make a hole. I'm just going to use a scissor. So measure the distance from that's my scissor, point it down, and boom, that's where my hole is going to be. So I'm just going to take the scissor. This is just, you know, simple tile. Drill a hole right down. Spin it. Enough for my RJ45 had to fit through, so I mean, if you could fit your finger through, it's pretty good enough. So make that hole. Okay, that's cool. So that hole is going to be used for the cable. So let's go to the next stage. Alright, so that RJ45 head that I crimped. I'm gonna put it down this hole. Right. Let it sit, so let it hang out there like that, about that much. Now, next step is this, watch. Okay, so there's 2 ports here. You want to put it in the one on the left with the little notch here, right? So this is the input, the Ethernet PoE in. That's port you use. So the reason why I left the cable hanging. Okay, so now the reason why I dropped this cable in here is it's easier to plug this in first, right? So you plug it into the left port, the PoE in, plug that in, make sure the clip pulls that up, and make sure these 2 latches hook up into the seam here. Push it up. Good to go. That's it. Simple. Centered. Good to go. Okay, so I gotta hold both of these cables back. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna throw a toner on both these cables. So I'm gonna do both at the same time. So I'm just gonna put the toner on these 2 cables. Anyway, so I put the leads of the toner right onto the 2 separate cables. You could do that. This way I could tone both cables out at the same time. And I kept this up here so people don't trip on it. Because sometimes they actually trip on it on purpose. So the other cable is about 30 feet away. And I'm up here. So let's see if I can pick up the tone. It's right here somewhere. Okay, so now put this phone down. Oh, got lucky. I found both cables. Sometimes you have to be careful the bleeding effect, so you can tell by the loudness of that. So now I gotta go disconnect the toner and then pull the cable towards this way. So I ID the cable, so now I'm going to disconnect the toner. Right? And then pull the cable back the other way to be used for the other wireless access points. Now the thing with these toner, you want to make sure the second you're done, you turn off the, you get into the habit of turning off the switch. Right? So that's the off position. Okay. So get into that habit, or you end up replacing a lot of batteries. So that's on, right? And that's off. And another thing is close the towel as you go. This way you don't have to come back in. One of the things I always do to check is make sure you don't leave your tools up here. That's a pain in the butt to come and looking for your tools up in the ceiling. So make sure you don't leave anything up. And close the towel as you're done. This way you don't have to come back. Okay, same thing. So before you start weaving your cable on, make sure you have your crimper and your RJ45 head ready. Alright, so you could, the initial tear, you could just go like this. Let's do it the proper way. Right, break with the knife. Hold it, then you take the string here, pull the string to where you're actually going to be doing the work. So this way you don't care about damaging the cable. This, you wouldn't use this part, you would use this part and up. Okay. I use my Leatherman for everything, so That's too long, obviously. So maybe about 1.5 inches. 1 inch. 1.5 inches is fine. Unless say go with like about a little over 1 inch. Same process. Brown will be on the left, orange will be on the right, blue is in the center, green will be on the outside. Right? So blue will be the only one that has the solid on the left. Everything else will have the solid color on the right. Orange will be on the right side in this case. Brown will be on the left side. It's harder than it looks, believe me, especially if you haven't done this. Because I've been doing this for a while. Right, so this is the pass through. Push right through. Flush it. Double check your color. Right, blue. Solid blue on the left. Everything else, so green's on around the blue. And everything else takes the tip is on the left, right? The white color. White brown, that's the tip color. White orange, that's the tip color. And white green, so that's all. Take the crimping. Right. Okay. Ease it in. Push it nice. Snap this in. Flush this. Squeeze. Twist it. Good to go. Here's the other side of the building.